Alright, today we're going to show you how to install the ACC retro style lake pipe for the C6 Corvette. This is also available for the C5 Corvette. Kind of an old school twist for a new car. It's going to sit right in this position like so. And what we're going to show you before we begin is how to install the brackets. Important for you to understand that the bend of this bracket right over here is going to line up with the very edge of the factory fiberglass rocker. So you want to, this is going to sit perfectly in position where it's going to be against one of your brackets back here, straight square on the frame. You've notched it, set it in, and this corner right here is going to sit right on this factory edge. That's going to position this bracket out perfectly for the lake pipe to sit. First thing we're going to do is start with the rear bracket. It's a stainless steel plate, has a couple of holes in it that are specific for this application. In order to install this back one, there's a couple of slight modifications you got to make to the body. We've got to give ourselves some access for this bracket. It's basically going to install with two lag bolts, so these larger holes, and then this 1/8 inch bolt that's going to screw right into the body panel. This is between these three, that's what's going to keep this nice and stiff. It won't be rattling around on you. What we want to do is put this just outside the factory perch for the C6. So that means that we've got to notch out a small little section of body here. You see that this screw goes right into this body, is aimed to go right into the body right there. So what you're going to want to do is just kind of set this back like so. Should line up with the back of the frame right up in front of this bracket, and you'll just mark this and it'll come straight over. Now the easiest way to do this, we found, is with a pretty common shop tool cut-off wheel. We're just going to zip this out, and then we're going to go and we're going to prep the surface of this metal. When we do that, we're going to take like a household rubbing alcohol. You're going to scrub this down, get rid of all this dirt in here, and then what you'll do before you put some adhesive promoter on, so put some tape on there, pull that off, see if you've got a nice tack. Okay, once you've cleaned this well enough for that masking tape to stick, then we're going to ask you to put on this special chemical. It's an adhesive promoter. It's not a cleaner, but it's going to lay down a base for this attachment tape to stick to. And if you do this very well, you'll get a nice solid mount to the frame. Between that tape and these two bolts, you'll have a permanent installation. Now that we've taken out this small little piece, you can see that our bracket's going to fit in there nice. Okay, it's exactly what you want. Your hole is lined up with the rocker panel. Your bracket is lined up with the back of the frame right up against this long bracket. So now we can go ahead and prep this for sticking. There are a lot of chemicals you can use to do this. Rubbing alcohol is probably the easiest, most accessible one, but you can use lacquer thinners or adhesive thinners. You want to make sure that that's pretty clean, that you've got a nice surface that'll stick to. So the easiest way to do that is just put some masking tape on it and see, it sticks pretty good. So now that you've cleaned that off well enough for that, this is the same chemical I showed you in that little packet, and you just want to kind of swipe this like that and allow that to dry. Now you're ready to mount this bracket. Okay, you're going to set it right back where you had it before. Okay. Now we can go ahead and put our mounting screws and put in our center bracket. This one screw right here is very important, so it's going to keep the whole thing from vibrating. Makes it very, very stable. So we'll go ahead and use a 3/16 drill bit. And then we'll ratchet this in nice and tight. Go ahead and apply a little hole to your body. I'm going to go ahead and put this body screw in. Run them in, and run it back out. And then you got to kind of finger your little flat nut into position. And that's going to give you a nice stiff joint. Now, by the same token, we're going to do the same thing to the front. Now, the front bracket is going to be marked F for front. Back one actually has an R on it for rear. You're going to do basically the same thing. This bracket's a little shorter than that one. It's about a ½ inch longer than this one. So in order to get this perfectly set, you want to make sure that you're going to mount this again right where that corner is, right against the corner of your fender, right in this area. And you want to seat this right up against this, the factory wheel well housing is right there, and you're going to sit this right next to it like so, and you're going to align this bend right up with this bracket. Comes the mounting of the lake pipe itself. This part's pretty easy, very basic tools. One of the things that we're going to point out to you is that this part of the lake pipe is actually going to attach to the fender. So you're going to need to prep this, you know, with your rubbing alcohol, get any wax and stuff off. Use the adhesive promoter in your kit, and that'll ensure that this stays nice and attached to the fender. You don't want that detaching down the road. So for this part, you're going to need somebody to help you. And what you're going to want to do is line this up. You want to kind of make it flush with the back wheel well. And you're also going to want to keep the corner of the lake pipe away from the body. You don't want that banging that up or chipping that paint over there. So now that you have this position, what you're going to do is slide underneath and mark the holes that are in our brackets right directly to the lake pipe. And once you do that, pull it out a little bit more, a little bit more. Okay. Now that you have that marked, turn this over and you can see where your screw holes are going to be. Now, it's important that you drill those holes precisely in that location. So in order to do that, you'll want to use the center punch just so that you can kind of make sure you got this right. This way, when you drill your hole, I want to get those. When you drill your hole, your drill should actually be in a perfect position. So your kit's going to come to you with a 9/64 drill bit, and it's not just a regular drill bit, it's cobalt drill bit, which is going to be designed to drill specifically into stainless steel. You won't be able to do this with a regular drill bit. All you'll do is dull the drill bit out and before we actually screw this in, you know, you're going to do your prep. Make sure there's no wax in there. And then you're just going to wipe that little spot with a piezo promoter. Peel this up. Set this, just get your alignment. Okay. So now I'm aligned with the hole that I drilled, and I can go ahead and just and press that to the car. Okay. Now you're going to have a good attachment there, and then you go ahead and put in the screws that come with your kit. That's how you put that in.